There's a lot you haven't been told by us about this particular segment. And like most cars in the long wheelbase 5+2 category, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, owner or renter. Ugly is only skin deep, and the Q7 is not ugly, but that's all subjective. Everyone that has one loves it. Everyone that doesn't envies it. But the only problem in this car is it's not the only 7-seater within this group. And we're about to tell you why this should be your top pick.
The best way I could describe my time and experience with the Audi Q7 is almost best described as riding an elephant that moves as fast as a horse. In this case, good things come in big sizes, and the Q7 shows it has a lot of it to give.
The Q7, it's a watered-down Bentley Bentayga with extra seats, or is it? Or does the Bentayga take its look and aesthetics from the Q7? Who knows? All we know is, underneath the shell, they're identical.
The Q7 has to be the best car I've sat in a very long time. Yes, it shares the same underpinning as other luxurious brands within the Volkswagen group, but I can tell you right now that where I'm sat is an armchair with 4 wheels. I'll tell you why. The seating position, for someone my height, phenomenal. Then you look at the dash you have to visualize. As a driver, I like to see where I'm going and going where I'm seeing. Digital dash, flat bottom steering. The infotainment system, we'll get to that later. But when I look forward, I see great visibility. I see a dash that's inviting, a seat that's comfortable. Like, I can't complain about what VW and Audi Group have done with this car. Bear in mind, this is the only long wheelbase car that they've got within that class. So they've had to pull out all the stops. And for what they've done, 10 out of 10. There are little things we can complain about, i.e. they could do with a dash that comes down here and little bits and pieces that work in the driver's nature. But as far as I'm concerned, for a long wheelbase car, they've done well. As far as Q7s are concerned, this has to be at the very top when it comes to Q7s, because a few years ago Audi decided to confuse how the consumers buy it. They went from what we know it as the standard 3-litre, whatever it is, and now they've put 40 TDI, 45 and 50 TDI. The car we're in now is a 50 TDI, which is a 6-cylinder V6 diesel, and boy, can you hear it on the outside. All you need to do is switch the gear lever into sport mode and the car changes its behavior. No other car in its class can do that. This car is only compared to the Volvo XC90, and the XC90 isn't that good. XC90 only comes with petrol, and the diesel engines aren't as powerfully powered. The diesel engines, well, the XC90 won't carry 3 car seats in the rear and 2 in the back. This car is designed for families that are 2+3 or 2+5. But commonly known, these cars have been more bought by people that are 2+1 or 2+2. Please tell me why, because these cars aren't cheap. That's the one thing I can say about what Audi have done with this car. They've made it so appealing, it's not cheap anymore. This car we're in right now has so many extras that me and Ben will talk about towards the end of the video. But we have to commend them to what they've done when it comes to making this platform appealing.
Talk about cars with 5+2 being commonly used by people who don't necessarily need them. This car is top of their list. The Audi Q7 is commonly purchased by people who don't need the extra seats in the rear, and the seats in the rear are always used as seats for scooters, bags, coats, and the occasional passenger. It's like buying extra legroom on a plane, but you're only 4'11", which is a bit strange, but weirdly enough, Audi and the marketing campaign are onto something with this car. The Q7 is the only Audi that offers you a third row seating structure. And the second row, you can fit 3 full-size car seats should you need them. Whilst the car shares most of its characteristics with other luxurious brands, this car is top of the group and it's got its own identity. The Q7 is the most customizable 7-seater on the planet, but it's also the most expensive. But with expense, you get comfort, and Audi have delivered that. This, for me, is the best car Audi has ever made. It's refined, it's exquisite, it's different, but that's only what Audi say. And should we take it for gospel? I guess this is why we're driving the car, right?
The pinnacle of everything Audi +2. When I say pinnacle, this has the same 5 seats as every other Audi car, but it carries 2 extra seats. Compared to anything else, this and the Volvo XC90 are the only cars that can fit two seats in the rear with 2 child seats in the rear and 3 child seats on the middle row. And from where I'm sat, this is the only Audi you need to buy. Yes, it's thirsty. I'm not gonna lie to everyone. This is a thirsty car, and the engine choices are as confusing as getting your shoes from Clark's. And you know what I mean, to those you guys that buy shoes from Clark's, you have to get your shoes measured. You have to get your measurements right if you're buying this car. You either go petrol or diesel. Apart from that, this has to be the best car I've driven thus far. Here why. Seating position. I'm in an armchair. I feel like I'm sat in the living room driving a car. The engine. My God, is the engine amazing. You've got a V6 underneath the bonnet. Yes, it's loud. You might have to have ear defenders if you've got sensitive hearing, but best engine. The 6-cylinder, boys, you all know what I mean, but if you drive a 6-cylinder, you will never drive a 4-cylinder again. Digital cluster. I don't need to say any more apart from digital cluster. You boys stuck in the analog age? Upgrade yourself. If you're an Audi driver with an analog dial, you're in the wrong car. It's an S-Line, so it's got everything you need. Creature comforts, you've got memory seats, you've got leather gear knob. Apart from that, it feels like I'm just sat at home on the sofa, but my sofa's a V6. Tell me more. I can't complain. Ben's gonna have to say something bad to make this car sound terrible. But right now, this is the best car I've driven. And I know we're alone, this is the best car he's driven too. Because it's got everything that he needs, bar a manual gearbox. And you know he's old school. But I'm new school. And I'm cool and he's not. And I tell you one thing that this car has that Ben will love, flat bottom steering. Like, it's like a sports car that carries 5 people plus the 2 kids that you don't want to hear when you're screaming. I'm done. Where do I buy one of these?
The Audi Q7. Here is where I'm coming from the perspective of a first-time driver. What's my experience with it so far? Well, let's just say it feels like I'm lugging a bus. I ain't gonna lie, this thing is a big boy. It's got presence. You can feel that it's a big one when you're moving it. But of course, that's the whole purpose of this sports utility vehicle, this SUV, this big boy tank, 4x4 as the old school people like to call it. This just really feels right in place where it really sticks to the ground. It's a heavy and it's a big one, but what are the things that I'm really taking from it so far, if I'm giving it my first impressions, first drive, really taking it all in? The steering wheel. I love the steering wheel. It's this kind of like half full circle, but with the flat bottom. You know, kind of reminds me of what I saw with the early days of the first generation Audi R8 back in 2007. Actually, in fact, the original RS4 with that, you know, magical 4.2 litre V8, but we're not talking about that car. We're talking about this Q7. The steering wheel is, it's really, really well put together, man. This is premium Audi engineering, of course. I love the instrument cluster. It looks clean, it's digital, so it is modern and is really up there. I'm definitely feeling that, 100% feeling that. The dashboard itself feels a bit plain, but, you know, I guess maybe they're going for that more simplistic aesthetic that, you know, kind of vibes with maybe not giving you too much of a distracting drive so you can really get along with what you're doing, because let me tell you, with how big this car is, you know, it picks up. It does pick up. It picks up a lot more than you think, and it's kind of like disorientating because I really felt a car this big move that much weight and that much speed that quickly. This is all down to the powertrain. Our main drive of the Audi Q7 50 TDI S-Line is using a 3-litre V6 diesel turbocharged with a power output of 282 brake horsepower, 0 to 62 in 6.1 seconds, and a torque rating of 443 pounds-feet of torque, and also a curb weight of 2,165 kilograms. And boy, when it puts its foot down, you definitely feel it. I will say the nature of this car, this is not a car that I would be wishing for it to be a manual. Yes, I'm gonna keep the same energy and same consistency. I am still old school. I am still used to 3 pedals. I am still used to a clutch. I am still used to a gear stick. This ain't the car for that. It ain't about that life. This is big. You just need it to be easy to handle, easy to drive as much as possible, because this is a big one. But like I said, as much as I've said it's a big one, it's a lot more compliant than I thought. Sticks to the road well. It does feel like it rolls in the corners, but again, you know, this isn't really the driving dynamics of all the type of cars that you're going to really be on the road expecting it to be that way. But the steering feels good. The brakes are sharp. You know, there is a slight delay in the pickup and the power, but once it goes, I promise you, you'll feel it in the heart. And it's not really because it's just carrying a lot of speed through. It's just because it's carrying a lot of speed for such a big boy. See it this way, it's almost like a sumo wrestler doing a 100-meter race. Boy, they're gonna be slow at first, but once they pick up and you see them go fast, it just feels weird and looks like something you've never seen before. And this is the impression that I get with the Q7. Apart from that, I like it. I don't know if this would be my SUV of choice, but I will say it's left an impression for just how capable these SUVs can be. Feel it.
Wait.
I do. The worst part is I'm gonna have to sit in and now have a conversation with you about it. So, ooh, Q7.
I've got nothing to say.
What do you mean you've got nothing to say? The people are not gonna like the fact that you've got nothing to say. We've got to say something.
Ever, it's ticked all the boxes.
You actually like this car?
No, I don't like it. I love it.
You love this car?
Yes.
You love something?
Yes.
You love something?
I mean, yes.
That's such a lie.
Wait,
You're capping.
Okay.
You're capping.
So.
Exposed.
I love everything about this car.
But. Cheeks?
Wait, I have to find something. Go and talk to me. Talk to me about what you don't like so I can find something. Oh, actually, I do. The little bit in the middle here.
Oh, the touchpad. Yeah. But maybe they need to go to Apple to learn how to do a trackpad, because maybe this ain't it. I've not spent enough time with it to really be a judge of it, so you got to tell me.
Do you know what? The one thing I can say about this car, it's an armchair on wheels. The driver has been the focus, but the driver's hand hasn't. So how can you focus on everything that driver has to do? The screen, digital display, flat bottom steering wheel, air suspension, boot lid over here, heated seats, parking sensors, hill descent. But you've given me a mouse from 1995.
Yeah, they need to consult Apple on how to do a trackpad then, Audi.
I don't think they need to. I just think they just to kill the whole bit. But bear in mind, we are sat in the previous gen Q7.
Right, okay.
So the new gen Q7 has had the fingerprint magnet put on it.
Oh gosh, yes,
So,
yes. Probably
the current
haptic
gen
feedbacks and everything.
Has everything in it, but every time I sit in this car, I struggle to find fault.
And here's why I agree, right? I'll say the bad, and this is not even a bad.
It's bad?
No. It isn't bad. I'm not used to just how simplistic the dashboard is, but
100%.
if I started thinking about it through the driving experience, it functionally makes sense, especially with the air vents,
Yes.
right? And obviously with the infotainment system that can pop up here as well is really cool, really futuristic. It gives more space to have like a much bigger speaker system. So functionally, this is such a clean design. I actually really respect it for that. I'm just not used to it visually. Maybe I'm just so used to dashboards that are so distracting in that retrospect, right?
How's the driving position for you though?
Oh, for me, it works
As in
well.
visually.
Oh, perfect. I'm saying for me personally, it hit well, and I think the driving position aided more to the fact that I think the steering doesn't distract to the instrument
Absolutely.
crustle. So that's me.
Have we just agreed on something?
We have. No, I'm more amazed that you said you don't like it, you love
this
it.
is
You
the
actually
thing.
love something.
I
You love something.
genuinely can't. And you know me, I pick faults at everything. This is the one car that I can sit there and go, this is good, that is good, this is good. My kids won't scream. I mean, if my kids do scream, they're far enough, I don't need to worry about it.
True.
It's got air vents at the back.
Yeah.
Visually is good.
Yeah.
We then saw its faster brother earlier on.
Yeah.
When I saw that, I thought this is a better car. One, because it's got the side steps.
True.
For those that haven't seen the visual outside, it's got the light pack that illuminates when you're driving. It's got the side steps that are not for extra. When you open the door, it's got the Audi logo. The petrol one we saw
Yep.
was all black everything.
And again, shout out to James and Ben for that. What a just off the cup moment to see that. So you see the shots of the black and also the white color that we've got here. And you know what? I agree so much where this car really has surprised me. I still don't know if this is going to be my SUV of choice, in my personal opinion.
That's mine.
I don't know yet. I don't know that. I don't want to make that decision, but I will say,
What would you compare it to? Because now I'm sat here and I'm not driving it, and you said it's not your SUV of choice.
it might not be.
Bear in mind,
It might not be.
I mentioned it earlier on, there's only two cars that will carry 5 plus 2,
True.
or 2 plus 3 car seats and 2 at the rear. So for all the parents that are buying a car with more than 2 kids that need 2 car seats, bear in mind this car has only been bought with 2 plus 2 and football boots and everything else. So if you need the 3 car seats in the rear, this is the car.
This is definitely the car. I just don't know whether, having not tried out the Porsche Cayenne,
You don't
the
need
Benz.
to.
I know, but I'm just saying, I know, but you see, Porsche have this thing where, same platform or not, whatever those guys at YSAC do, they do it differently. So
They
I don't
have
know.
the extra 2 seats.
I know. So that's why I'm saying that in terms of functionality, this is the one that I'm really, really leaning to. But I don't want to make the definitive decision to say this would be my SUV of choice.
I will make it for you. Ben likes this car.
I do like this car.
And I love this car.
He's right.